later today, and that will also serve as a tune-up for the team as they get prepared for their first match against Egypt. This Super Eagles preparation for the AFCON has not gone without its controversy, especially with a lot of players pulling out of the competition, either through injury, through illness, or blatant refusal by their clubs to release them, as was the case with Emmanuel Dennis. Another club that is actually refusing to comply with invitation extended to the player is Al-Shabaab of Saudi Arabia, and it appears that Odion Ighalo may not be in the AFCON. Coach Eguavoen has also spoken about it, says Odion Ighalo is dying to play for Nigeria at the AFCON, but for his club's refusal, and also the possibility of replacing him in the team has actually been ruled out because the players penciled down Akiwumi Amao and Salas Nwankwo of Nasarawa United could not be drafted in because CAF rule stipulates that a player can only be replaced at this point, at this stage of the competition, either through injury or illness. Neither is the case with Odion Ighalo. It's all has to do with club's refusal to release him, so Nigeria cannot replace him. So we may likely should, although all of it is not lost, it could still arrive because some players are still expected today. In Cameroon, talk about Tadwa Boy and Jamilu Collins. So should Ighalo be able to waggle his way out of the clutch of Al-Shabaab, he will still be in Cameroon. But if not, we have to prosecute the competition with 27 players, and if you ask me, good enough to go. So that's the situation with the Super Eagles camp. We shall be catching up with latest development as we have visuals from Gara, courtesy of NFF TV, as we get to hear Austin Eguavoen talk about the team's preparation so far. And of course, Nigeria High Commissioner to Cameroon, Ambassador Olani Sekon, has also visited the side. He actually welcomed them to Cameroon, with urging them to go all out to win the competition. We also have visuals from that reception accorded the team by the Nigeria Commission in Cameroon. And also, as we continue our countdown to the AFCON, we shall be looking at Cote d'Ivoire today. We've been talking about the different different teams that will be competing in the competition. We've actually taken time to look at Egypt, Cameroon, Senegal, Zimbabwe yesterday. We'll talk of Cote d'Ivoire today. Then tomorrow we'll do a more comprehensive analysis of all the teams. So today we shall be taking a look at the Elephants of Cote d'Ivoire. What are their chances? What players are they coming with? And what to expect from Cote d'Ivoire. And also, as regards the Super Eagles, we'll be talking about do more in-depth analysis of the striking department. We'll be taking it department by department all week. We started with the goalkeeping department, then we had the defense, and then yesterday we talked about the midfield. For today, we'll be talking about the strikers, and let's see what Nigeria has to offer. What are the chances? Who are those that we expect to deliver the goals for Nigeria, especially among the strikers? We shall be talking about that in the course of the program. Away from the African Cup of Nations, the controversy surrounding refusal of Australian authorities to allow Novak Djokovic gain entry to Australia for the Australian Open is still very much in the air. The Australian authorities are saying that they are not holding him against his will, that he's free to leave at any time, against widely held insinuations that he's been held in Australia. But then the last has not been heard of this, as Novak Djokovic continues to battle, trying to see if he can actually be allowed in to play. He's still in Australia at the moment, and his lawyers have said are working on that. We'll have update on that, and we shall be sending you on the program. So these are more for you on the program. Also, latest results from the NBA and other news making it around in the world of sports, as we serve to make it a very, very bumper edition indeed, as is usually the case on this channel. To help me talk us through all this that we'll be discussing on the program today is no other than Austin Arume. Austin, you were dropped to the reserve bench yesterday. Blessing Bassey came on. Yeah. You're back, taking up your place again. So it's good to have you on the show.
Well, it's actually good to be back on the show, and it feels good, to be here once again. At the end of the day, quite an interesting weekend ahead, just like what we've been able to roll out. I think it's actually going to be an interesting show overall.
Yes, indeed. So without much ado, we'll take a break. When we return, we'll go full throttle on the Grand Sports Center this morning. Stay with us. Welcome back to the Grand Sports Center, your one-stop sports show where you always enjoy the very best of sport. Super Eagles getting set for their first match against Egypt, or the African Cup of Nations set to start on Sunday. Most teams are already in Cameroon. Nigeria already there in Garua. They arrived on Wednesday evening. They even had their training session yesterday. So it's good. They are good to go, but then probably will be without John Igalo, as also Gavoin has confirmed this morning that John Igalo basically may not be in the team, and they are not likely to replace him because the rules does not allow for that. It falls short. The reasons for John Igalo's absence fall short of requirements for replacement, which has to do with injury or illness. And this is not the case here.
Definitely. I think with what we have in the team so far, I believe we have everything it takes to actually navigate away from this particular group. Not like the addition of Igalo is not going to be a good one, because of the experience that he has. But with what they have, what we have in the team right now, Taiwo Awoni, the likes of Kelechi Iheanacho, we have Omar Sadiq. It's good. It's so difficult that we don't get to have these guys in the team. Talking about Victor Osimhen and Emmanuel Dennis. But the Super Eagles is so blessed. I think we're one of the best. Most blessed team, if I can actually use that word, so much so that we can actually miss two of our key strikers, and we're still very much confident going into the African Cup of Nations. This is how blessed that the Nigerian Super Eagles is at the moment, going into the African Cup of Nations.
But then we'll at least we'll have this services of Tyrone Eboye and Jamila Collins.
Yeah.
They are due to arrive in Cameroon today.
Yeah, I think it's actually a good one, a good development. The fact that they were expected yesterday, but it didn't happen. But it's all good that they are coming all the same, because we need all the help that we can get from these guys. Looking at the defense, department, that we actually need these guys to actually, complement the team.
And given that they are defenders, at least we need to have more covers in that area. But then it appears that the team has settled down well in Korea. They had their first training session yesterday, and Coach Gavoin is sounding very optimistic, like I said earlier in my introduction. And he says, in fact, if I'm quoting right, he's more optimistic now than he was a few days ago. Probably you could understand. They have, the players were coming in trickles. But now he has a full complement of players, and he could actually say, fine, he could start working on tactics and other development. Anyway, they had their training session yesterday. Good to know. They said it lasted for 1 hour, 15 minutes. Yeah. So which means that they're really settling down to map out strategies for the match against Egypt. We have him we have a video of his interview at the end of the training yesterday. So all the way from Garua. This is courtesy of NFF Television. So let's get to hear Coach Austin Eguavoen speak about yesterday's training session and how it has been so far since arriving in Garua for the African Cup of Nations.
Coach Austin Eguavoen. Coach, you're all smiles today. First training since we arrived Garua last night for the AFCON.
Yes, first training about an hour, 15 minutes. Couldn't do everything that we wanted to because of time factor. But however, I think we're very impressed. The field also, it's very good. Environment is good. Weather is good. And the boys responded very well. And we're happy.
So, what do you see about the response of the players to training?
Very good, because the way I operate is I try to interactive section. No man knows it all, but I have my own philosophy, that I have my own way of doing things, but what I'll do is I'll try to make you understand why I wanted to do it that way. And we've been preaching that from day one, and the boys quite understand me now, and they have never showed any sign of, do I say grievance, maybe, if you like. And they've been happy, and they've been responding very well. I spoke to a couple of them in the aircraft yesterday coming here, because there was no time to do that in Abuja. On arrival, I think we went to bed about 2 a.m. This morning I spoke to a few. This evening I'm still going to speak to the remaining players before we have a collective section. So far, I think they are very pleased. They're very pleased, and the attitude towards the training sections have been awesome. Really professionalism that they're demonstrating.
When we arrived at Galua last night, everybody there at the airport was saying, "You will win this AFCON." How did you feel? Did that further spur you?
Oh yeah.
Augustine Gavon under a little bit of pressure?
Pressure, yes, obviously, because it's not me. If even it's Mourinho, if even it's Conte, if even it's Pep Guardiola, or name it, biggest coaches in the world, you cannot get in a row. You can't say you're not under pressure. It's like City, probably one of the best teams in the world right now, playing the best brand of football. Guardiola is one coach that I adore. I like other coaches as well, but his approach is very different. And he's not been able to win the Champions League with Man City. So you cannot say he's not under pressure. He wants to win it. So people are saying, yes, they expect Nigeria to win the AFCON. That puts me under some pressure. But I'll take it and digest, and then we'll take it game after game. I mean, it's not going to be easy, because every team that have come here have come to prove a point. You know, and the first game, it's very crucial to any team. That will give you a lot of encouragement, you know, going to the tournament proper. So I would say a little bit of pressure, but I think I'm more relaxed now than about 2 weeks or a week ago.
And finally, questions have been asked. Have you spoken with Igalo yet, or we moved on without?
Yeah, we spoke, we exchanged text messages, and from his response, he's doing everything possible to come by, and I thought of replacing him. I gave a deadline and trying to bring in either the boy from Nasarawa United, Silas Nwankwo. He's a good player, no doubt, because he's striker, and also Akinkumi Omo, but he's not a striker. But again, he can play off striker. So I thought of replacing any of them, but what they are saying, CAF is saying, is only based on injuries, health reasons. That's the only way you can replace players. So that's the only reason what was holding us back. But the federation is putting on all efforts. We are from here. The young man Odion is also doing his best from there. Hopefully, we'll get a positive answer. So if it wasn't for the rules that says it has to be on medical grounds, otherwise you can't replace somebody, maybe we would have just told him, Odion, you know what? We don't want you to go through that. You know, psychologically, we know you are with us in spirit, but there's nothing we can do but just to replace you. But on medical grounds, he's healthy, so we don't play very bad for anybody.
And I know we expect Tyrone and Damile Collins to join us.
Yes. Yes, hopefully tomorrow. Because Tyrone is playing tonight, and he'll be here tomorrow. Chamili will also be here tomorrow evening. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Coach Augustine Agova. All the best.
Coach Austin Eguavoin there talking about the Super Eagles as they had their first training session yesterday. Like we said earlier, they have a match today, a tune-up match against Cotton Sports. And surprisingly, well, compared to other countries, we are playing against a club side. But we had other teams, Ghana playing against Algeria, and other nations playing more, how do I put it, more illustrious opponents in tune-up matches. But like we always say, this is just tune-up match. It's even good that it's against a club side, because we don't want our players to be injured, because I'm sure it's going to just be one of those light workouts. It's going to be played behind closed doors. So just another training session, if you ask me.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's actually a way of actually, to get his players in tune for the upcoming task. It won't actually matter anyway, the result of this friendly, but it's just a way of, actually getting a kind of competitive action before, their first match against Egypt, which is actually a good one, playing against one of the top teams in Cameroon, Sporting Club Gavra. We all know what they've done in the past as far as CAF competition is concerned. So I'll say it's actually good preparation in a way for the Super Eagles.
And such teams can give you more opposition than national teams because they want to prove a point.
Yeah.
So probably we'll be able to they'll be able to get the best out of Super Eagles to give us a glimmer of what to expect when they play against Egypt on Tuesday. But one thing I've observed about Osei looking very relaxed, always relaxed, right from time since I've known Osei as a player, as a coach. He's always very relaxed. But something just tells me that probably because of the experience he had, he has been at Nations Cup before, 2006 in Egypt. He was in charge of the team. They got the bronze medal, they placed third. I was in Egypt with him. He was a bit not as calm as he's looking now. Maybe he's more matured, if you ask me. But then something else tells me that there's a lesson from Egypt that he is bringing into this team this time around. Someone that has been there before, at least he has an idea of what it would take to go far in this competition. There may have been one or two mistakes last time out in Egypt 2006 that he knows that if he had an opportunity, he will not repeat, and this is an opportunity. He's just looking very relaxed, and I think it's a good thing that he's very calm about the job.
Well, I think I would like to point out something. In my own opinion, I believe part of the reason he's actually relaxed is that, number one, there's a coach already in the waiting, so you know that whatever you are going to do, you are not doing it to impress anybody. You are not doing it, to get appraisal and probably get the job on a permanent basis. That aside, you can also add, the experience he has as a coach, in Egypt. Bringing that forward, that he has actually garnered that experience, and he's bringing that to bear. And coupled with the fact that I believe Super Eagles as a team, we have the players, the caliber of players to actually take on any team in Africa. That's my opinion, though.
And again, talking about that, taking you on your first point as well. It's not going to be judged based that whether he wins or not, he's going to leave the job.
Yeah.
Also, if it goes too badly, it may affect your reputation.
Yeah.
He's the technical director of the football house, so it may call to question your competence to hold that role. So he still has to get a good result, if you ask me.
Yeah, definitely.
And then again, the last one you said, very important. You talked about the quality of players.
Yeah.
Do you think, it just struck me now, do you think that he's smiling or he's more relaxed because compared with what he had in 2006, do you think he has a better group of players this time around?
Definitely.
Do you think his group of players are better than what? In 2006, we had the Yobo.
Yeah.
We had a young Mikel Obi coming into the team.
Yeah.
We had the likes of Osazo Denwike. We had John Mutaka. They were all still there.
Yeah.
We had Joe Nakiri. We had Chidi Odia and Tayo Taiwo.
George Abe.
And yes, some of them were still there. Yusuf Anyela, Olofinjana. Those were the crop of players he went with in 2006.
Yeah.
And Usofo. Do you think that probably he's looking at this group of players? Do you think that this is more of a golden generation than what we had then?
I think so. More especially in attack. We just talked about the fact that we are still missing key players in attack, and we're going into this Nations Cup quite optimistic. Looking at our attack, we have the likes of Kelechi Iheanacho, who can actually, I'll say he's unplayable on his day. We have the likes of Taiwo Awoni, who is in form for his club in Union Berlin.
Yeah.
We have Sadiq Umar, who can actually contribute goals and assist, and is quite comfortable on the ball. So when you have this corporate, you have the Chukwueze, exactly.
Defenses, educate, skills,
exactly.
So I'm thinking along the same lines.
So it's just interesting, I'm just trying to imagine what will be going on his mind right now when you have this talented bunch, how you intend to play them. So it remains to be seen, and I'm just looking forward to see the kind of team he will actually reel out when we get to play against Egypt.
Well, keep our fingers crossed, and the Super Eagles not just preparing on the pitch of play, they are also being feted as the Nigerian High Commission rolled out the drum to welcome them in Korea yesterday. The High Commissioner, Ambassador Abayomi Olanisekun, actually hosted the team, where he encouraged them to give in their best and charged them to go all out to win the competition. Let's get to hear from that event as the Ambassador Abayomi Olanisekun hosted the Super Eagles players on their arrival in Garua, Cameroon.
The head of delegation, the chief coach, the coaching crew and the supporting staff, whom I've had here, and my amiable Super Eagles players. I'm really privileged to speak to you today again. I want to, on behalf of the High Commission in Cameroon and the Nigerian community in Cameroon, welcome you to Cameroon, and especially Garua, where you'll be having your preliminary matches and probably subsequent matches. You recall that sometime last year, I also was able to address you when we met in Douala, and you came for a match against Central African Republic. Remember that I want to leverage on that good work which you did in that particular match that gave us the 3 points that were at stake in that very match, to charge you more so as you go into the preliminary matches and other matches that is up for the African Cup of Nations. By my reckoning, there are 7 matches really, 5 in this place, Garua, 1 in Douala, and then the last one in Yaoundé. That is to say that I'm hopeful that having played the 7 match, then we'll be going back home to Nigeria with the cup. I want to say that the Nigerian community in Cameroon is fully in support. We have gone around, we were in Garua about 2 weeks ago to speak with them. We have been in Douala, we have been in Buea, we have been all over making sure that last year when I went around, I told them that one of our great issue, or one of the issues we'll be confronting in 2022 is the African Cup of Nations. And I asked them that we must all mobilize to support our team for a very successful outing. Let me also congratulate you for even getting to this stage, because you realize that in some past African Cup of Nations, we were not able to get to this stage. So congratulations for getting to this stage. But then, it is good to get here, but it's much better to go home with the cup. So we are praying and we are wishing that the preliminary matches that you will start on the 11th of January, that you will be able to go through it, and then the other subsequent 2 matches in the preliminary stages before we go into the match of 16, the match of 8, and then the semi, and then final, the one that will be played in Yaoundé. That is our prayers and that's our support for all of you. Thank you. God bless you.
So as you said,
once again, I would say thank you very much for what you did last year when we were in Cameroon, and for the support. And then we see exactly what you did yesterday. We don't have that opportunity to say we came to the stadium because we are so tired, but we give you a message to tell them that we really appreciate what they did to us yesterday. And inshallah, we're going to make Nigeria proud and make our family proud. We're not just coming here to just look the city, how beautiful it is. No. We want to write our name in the history so that when our children grow, we're going to say that our father, their dad, did this. And inshallah, I assure you, sir, and with the support that we're having from everyone in Nigeria, we're going to make them happy, inshallah. Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right. I wish I I appreciate all of you, but then I will definitely shake you when we will be taking the cup back home.
Ambassador Abayomi Olandisekun, Nigeria Commissioner to Cameroon there, motivating the Super Eagles ahead of commencement of action in the African Cup of Nations. I think the ambassador spoke very well. He spoke the minds of Nigerians.
Yeah.
And I don't think there could have been any better way to motivate the players than such a very beautiful speech.
Yeah, definitely. I think, first of all, I'll have to commend him, for being there in person. It shows the love he has for the team, and in a way it can actually go to go a long way in motivating the players, as you can see from the captain's response there. It's actually a good way to start, if you ask me.
Yes, indeed. And come to think of it, Nigeria, we're in Cameroon so in October for the match against Central African Republic. So some of these players, they're already used to Cameroon, if you ask me. So it's like homecoming. Because he mentioned the fact that he was with them when they came to Central Africa, and they had a very good results. So I hope that we're going to have good results in Cameroon. Yeah,
definitely. I think Cameroon, for me, feels more like home. Home away from home. They are neighbors, and I think we've been there. To play a couple of matches. So I think Nigerian players will be
supportership.
Yeah, definitely.
I understand that, like the ambassador said, they've mobilized Nigerians in Garua, Douala, Yaoundé, hoping that they will go the whole hog for 7 matches. So, and I like his optimism.
Yeah.
And I hope that the Super Eagles will be able to live up to expectation of Nigerians. But then, talking about the African Cup of Nations, it's still something that one issue that actually wasn't too that people have talked about in previous in the past has been the issue of the prize money. They've been talking about it being increased, that it wasn't too palatable. Let me use that word.
Yeah.
But CAF has decided to increase it this time around from $3.9 million to $4.5 million. A good one, if you ask me, because for the players, apart from the pride of representing their country, at the end of the day, they are sure at least they'll go home with something tangible in terms of financial or cash rewards.
Well, I'll say it's a good way to actually start, but we can't actually complain. To me, I think that's meager compared to what some of our contemporaries. We have to start from somewhere. So I would say it's actually a good one that we've been able to get that increase. Subsequently, we can actually get sponsors to buy into AFCON, and then the prize money can actually get bigger. And talking about players' welfare, I think this can also go a long way in making sure that all these players get remunerations, get their allowances, so to say, at the end of it. So it's actually a good initiative from CAF.
Actually, every team participating in the competition, all 24 teams guaranteed at least $534,000. So no matter what, as long as you qualified, $534,000. You could say mega compared to others, but in Africa, some FAs, some federations, that would be some big money they could invest into development of the game in their country. So, good one for CAF. And still talking about African Cup of Nations, the Super Eagles, we're going to talk about the attacking department.
Yes.
And we've talked about the goalkeeping department, the defense and the midfield. If I could recall, our submissions was that in the goalkeeping department, any 4 of the goalkeepers could actually hold its way. But you gave Akpeyi the edge over the others based on his experience and recent performances.
Yes.
Then, of course, in the defense, we talked about the likes of the normal defense lines, Enedu Sanusi, Aina, Trusecon. But you came in with something surprising, saying Olisa Nda should pair up with Trusecon.
Yeah.
Bypassing the likes of Omeru, Steve and Awazem. So
yeah.
that was it. Well, if it happens like that, you know that definitely had something special in terms of looking into the crystal ball. But then it's something I think will be very difficult to happen. But like I said, it's going to be very difficult for any coach to give a debut to a new player in a competition like AFCON.
Yeah.
It remains to be seen if he distinguishes himself in the training. Who says he will not get the starting shot? That's about the defense. In the midfield yesterday, Blessing actually was there. He talked about the likes of Ndidi and the likes of Ndidi and Aribo actually being some of the players that we should look out for in that midfield. Now we're talking about the attack today. The attack now can be very complicated because we talk about the strikers, then the forward players.
Yeah.
Because we have both the strikers and those opening from the wings. We have the likes of Iwobi, we have the likes of Chukwueze, we have the likes of Ahmed Musa, the likes of Moses Simon, and we have the likes of Awoni, Sadiq, and of course Olayinka.
Yeah.
So, how do you think Super Eagles, where do you think Super Eagles will operate from in terms of the likely players you think can deliver the goods?
I believe this is where Coach Austin Eguavoen will get, that confusion. That confusion will actually set in at one point in time when you have a player like Peter Olayinka. I almost forgot that Peter Olayinka too is actually part of the setup. You have a player like Taiwo Awoniyi, who has scored 9 goals in the Bundesliga this season. You have Kelechi Iheanacho, though he has not scored much, but he can actually he has that nuisance value against the opposition team. And then you have a striker like Umar Sadiq. Though playing in the Senguda division, he has scored 8 goals and he's assisted 6. It tells you the kind of player that is. He can actually score and he can also assist. So it's going to be a very difficult one to actually select.
Man in your own estimation?
Well, I believe Awoniyi should be the point man, not because he scored more goals, but looking at the other strikers that he's going to be up against, I think he's more direct. He's that kind of player that all he thinks about is, let me just go and score goal. I don't have any business with, assisting and all that. So I believe he should actually be the point man at the end of the day. And then, looking at, who to support him, that is where I get confused.
You are confused.
Something is telling me to go for Omar Sadiq. But then another thing is actually, pointing me.
We hardly play 2 strikers.
Yes.
Hardly play. So we are talking about looking at the 4-3-3, which is a traditional system, except when it comes to tweak it. So as if we are going for a 4-3-3,
yeah,
we have a point man who plays from the right and left side of the attack.
Yeah, I think from the left and right hand side, it's definitely going to be Chukwueze, coming in from the right side, and then I'll go for an Alex Iwobi.
There's Henry Onyekuru there.
There's Henry Onyekuru there, but I think talking about the Super Eagles, Alex Iwobi is a more established figure. We know that he doesn't really play well for his club, but whenever he's playing for the Super Eagles, we see a different Alex Iwobi. But I'm not the coach, but if I am to choose in a 4-3-3 formation, I think Alex Iwobi will be part of that setup. But then all these other guys, have legitimate claim because they can equally play good football as well. So it's quite interesting, and I'm actually looking forward to, just like I said earlier, how Eguavoen will set up his team to play in that very first game, because that very first game is going to be very, very crucial. We need to pick up that point. I think it will give us confidence that we can actually win the AFCON at the end of the day.
Yes, indeed. So good one. So we have an idea of what we think in the house, what Super Eagles should line up. But then everything depends on Austin Eguavoen. We can only be here. Everything depends on how they perform on the training pitch, and that may determine how who Austin Eguavoen will select. On Monday, when we come your way again, we shall be talking about the match, precisely analyzing the match between Nigeria and Egypt. So for now, we just did the general analysis of the Nigerian team, and we hope that by Monday, when the competition would have fully started by then, we'll be talking more precisely about Nigeria versus Egypt. And still talking about the African Cup of Nations, it's due to start on Sunday, and one team that's expected to go all the way. We talked about Egypt being one of the favorites. We talked about Morocco being one of his favorites. We talked about Senegal being one of the favorites. One other team that we expect to go all the way is Cote d'Ivoire, the Elephants of Cote d'Ivoire. They won in 2015, second time after their win in 1992. And on both occasions, strangely, it was Ghana that they beat in the finals.
Yeah.
It was fair penalties. So probably again, should they get to the final, they want to meet Ghana. Maybe they will pray to get to the final and let it be Ghana. It used to be with Nigeria and Cameroon. When we get to the final, Cameroon beats us. But I think we've since reversed that one.
Yeah.
But then, the Elephants of Cote d'Ivoire, any day, good competitors, and always giving it their best. They've won the competition twice, 1992 and in 2015, and they have been one of the most consistent teams in Africa since 2006. They qualified in 3 consecutive World Cups. So that goes to tell you the pedigree of this side. So Elephants of Cote d'Ivoire, they didn't make it to the final round of qualifiers for the World Cup. Does that mean that this team is not as good as the previous Elephant sides?
Well, how? I think it's actually very interesting because when we're talking about our favorites for this competition, Ivory Coast didn't actually come to my mind. But when I saw the players that they have on parade, I had to adjust my seat, and then I looked at it. I think Ivory Coast should be added to that list as well. Ivory Coast should be added to that list as a favorite, to win the competition.
Talking about the players that's making you have a change of mind now. Maybe we'll just talk about a few of them.
Yeah.
We have Sergio Aurier, Villarreal, Eric Bailey, Manchester United, Willy Boly, Wolverhampton Wanderers, and of course we have the likes of. It's even in the attack that we have quite an array of stars.
Yes.
Wilfred Zaha, Crystal Palace, one of the most fouled players in the Premier League this season because of his dribbling skills. We have Nicolas Pepe of Arsenal, Sebastian Haller of Ajax, who is scoring goals in numbers, and Christian Kouame of Anderlecht also doing very, very well.
Yeah.
So in terms of attacking prowess, the Cote d'Ivoire, they are well stocked, and you could say that this team, not taking anything away from them, they may not have qualified for the last round of the World Cup qualifiers, but this is a team that should be able to do the business on a good day.
Definitely. When you have, the likes of Haller, I never actually thought that Haller is part of this Ivory Coast team. And then
I never thought that Wilfred Zaha has changed his mind for the national team. So it just goes to show you that this Ivorian team, we actually took them for granted.
Yeah.
But look, like you said, looking at the setup, the makeup of the team now, on inside, this team is a winning team. Definitely. When you look at the team in defense, they have Willy Boly of Wolverhampton Wanderers, who I also didn't know was part of the team. They have Eric Bailly of Manchester United. They have Serge Aurier of Villarreal. I think generally, I'll say they are both settled in defense. And then when you get to the midfield, we have a player like Kessie, who is quite dominating, playing for AC Milan. And then in attack, you have, these 3 guys who are devastating. If Haller can actually, recreate the kind of form that he is at the moment with Ajax, I think, we should look out for Ivory Coast. And you have a player like Wilfred Zaha and the likes of Pepe that are exciting players. And I think we actually, I personally, I believe I didn't look at Ivory Coast, at this point. But right now, in the World Cup qualifiers, so we just overlooked them.
Now, right now, it's the picture is very, very clear now. If they can actually play together as a team, I believe they should actually be one of the favorites to win the African Cup of Nations
this time around. So let's keep our fingers crossed. Cote d'Ivoire, one of the teams being tipped to go all the way. Like I always say, the football will do the talking on the pitch of play. But on paper, they look good. But then let's see what happens on the pitch of play. So much about the African Cup of Nations for today. We'll take a break now, and when we return, we'll talk about other issues making it round in the world of sports, especially the latest from Melbourne as regards the situation with world number 1, Novak Djokovic. back to the Grand Sports Center, your Worcester Sports Show, where you always enjoy the very best of sports. The Novak Djokovic issue has not died down, and he's still in Australia, and they're still trying to fight his way into the country. I just wonder what he still wants. Left with me, they've told you that you didn't meet the requirements. If he forces his way in, if, for example, he wins his whatever, he's challenging the decision in court and he gets his way and goes into Australia, at the end of the day, so much bad blood. But then he still has his fans, because understand that his fans are camping outside the hotel where he's presently is. I won't say where he's presently held, because the Australian authorities have said they are not holding him against his will. He's free to live where he wants to live. So where he presently is, and they are drumming up support for him. So should he have his way, he will still be a show of support. But then it would have come with a lot of stepping on toes.
Blood. I think, just like we keep saying, this is life. He has every right, to say, I don't want to be vaccinated, but the rule is a rule. Right from the beginning, it was stated that if you have not been vaccinated, you are not allowed to play play in the tournament. So at this point in time, he already made his decision. So whatever is going to get from it at the end of the day, I think it's his own making, so to say. So I expect, I expect this issue to drag along. I mean, there's still time, between now and 17, because the Australian Open kicks off on the 17th, so he can actually make a case. And then
the authorities are saying that they are also investigating the visa of other foreign tennis players who are in the country. Is this a way of dancing the tension, shifting attention from Novak, to tell everybody that it's not about Novak, it's about, it applies to everybody as well?
Well, I think the whole issue started when, they started with the issue of granting waivers, and not just, Novak Djokovic. There are other, players as well who were, were given waiver to actually participate without, the COVID-19 thing. So I believe, with the whole spark that the Novak Djokovic issue, generated. So they are actually trying to, retrace their step, from what was the original plan, allowing these other guys to actually participate. And right now, Novak Djokovic is having a problem. So if Novak Djokovic is going out, I think it's actually fair, to actually, trim these other guys, weed them out as well, so that it will actually be a fair situation. So at the end of the day, it will not be as if it was aimed at Novak Djokovic, which is actually a very good one.
But whatever the case may be, wherever your stand is on this issue, this will continue to generate a lot of controversy for the time to come, because never in the history of tennis I used to say that's one gentleman's sport. Grand Slam comes, these guys, they do that thing and go. Now, a lot of things outside the course are now dominating the headlines, which has not always been the case in the past. So we'll continue to see how things unfold. Maybe by Monday, when everything's sorted out, we'll get to know if Novak Djokovic will actually get his chance to play and defend his Australian Open title, or head back home to Serbia. We'll quickly go over to the NBA now, where results from yesterday's matches shows that Boston Celtics lost at home to New York Knicks by 108 to 105 points. Detroit Pistons were beaten at home also by Memphis Grizzlies 118 to 88 points. The LA Clippers and Phoenix Suns, also Golden State Warriors, lost at home to New Orleans Pelicans 101 to 906 points. This is about the third straight loss or second straight loss by Golden State Warriors.
Yes.
It's like the Steph Curry bubble has busted, because they've been losing in recent times.
Well, I think he missed yesterday's game. The last game he was part of the team, but I think yesterday's game he was not part of the team, and I believe that left Golden State Warriors exposed. It left them exposed because the other teams don't have to focus on Steve Curry.
Are they just a one-player team?
They are not just a one-player team. I think they have a pool in that team who can actually do a very good job on a normal day. But then when you have a player like Steph Curry, I think the presence of
Steph Curry alone can actually, take out 3 or 4 players in your team, which is actually a very dangerous one for the opposition team. But when he's not there, I believe it will become a level playing ground for these other teams, and most of the time these teams, other teams, tend to take advantage of that, and I think this is what happened right there in that game.
Anyway, we'll continue to keep you posted on the NBA. Those were the results from yesterday, and as we wrap it up on the show now, we would have taken a short break, but I don't think time is on our side, so we'll just quickly wrap up with the remaining part of the show, then we'll see how it goes. We'll go straight to football, where matches were played in Italian Serie A yesterday. So matches were postponed actually because of COVID-19 issues. We have Bologna Inter Milan match postponed, and also the match between Atlanta and Torino. But then there was also Salernitana Venezia was postponed. Fiorentina Udinese also was postponed. But there was action in Milan as AC Milan hosted Roma. They won that match by 3-1. And also action in Turin, where Juventus and Napoli, top of the fixture encounter, ended 1-1. And we also had results from the match between Spezia and Hellas Verona. Verona won that one 2-1, while Lazio and Empoli battled to a 3-3 draw. Sampdoria lost at home to Cagliari by 2-1. AC Milan now won to close the gap behind Inter. Though Inter did not play, but they won that match. It was a crucial match for them, and they got the result yesterday. 3-1 it was. They're now just 1 point behind Inter Milan.
I think it's actually a very good result, irrespective of the fact that Inter has a game in hand. The result AC Milan actually got can actually put a pressure on them, and it might lead to dropping points for Inter Milan at the end of the day. It's good to see this team pushing Inter so hard, because we want to see a competitive league, and for me it's good to see SC Milan as well, doing very well. At one point in time, they were out of form, but right now they are gradually coming back to form. Giroud, scoring the winner right there, and it's so interesting how the Italian Serie A, is beginning to play out as this season is going by.
Juventus and Napoli played out in 1-1 draw. Napoli scored first through Dries Martins. Juventus equalized through Enrico Chiesa. Napoli is still missing Victor Osimhen.
Yeah. I think since the injury to Victor Osimhen,
they have gone down the table. They are about, I think, 4 points behind AC Milan.
Yeah.
They are third, but they are fourth, even behind Atlanta.
Behind Atlanta,
so, 4 points behind Inter. So they've actually drifted.
Yeah, in a way, you can actually say that the injury to Victor Osimhen is actually the cause of the problems that Napoli are facing at the moment. We usually talk about that, what this guy, Victor Osimhen, brings to the team. That apart from, scoring the goals, he can also, create nuisance for the opposition team. And, he's one player that likes to track back, making sure that everything is okay. At the end of the day, you are missing that player. It's always hard to actually replace such a player, and they are feeling the impact at the end of the day. So I believe it's a game between two teams, looking to make amends, because Juventus, they are one team that didn't start the season too well. In recent times, they've been getting the result. Overall, I think it's a fair result, for both sides, who are looking to gain, to close the gap between themselves and the top of the top of the table. Talking about AC Milan, talking about Inter Milan, who are on top of the table. We also talk about Atlanta. So it's actually an interesting result and a good result for both teams, if you ask me.
And of course, there will be no league matches in England this weekend. FA Cup take its way, but then league has suffered a lot. A lot of postponement. A total of 18 top flight games have been called off due to COVID-19 in recent times. But then, and now we begin to wonder, how are they going to be rescheduled given the tight space? But I think they have a kind of a leeway now, as FIFA has approved that the next international window, which falls between 24th of this month and 2nd of February, they could actually use it to schedule matches, provided players are not withheld from honoring invitation to the national team. But the good thing is that most European teams will not be playing friendly matches, because Europe will not be observing that break. So FIFA has given them the go-ahead to reschedule those matches during that period. I think this is a good one for Premier League. It's it's a breather, if you ask me.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure that they'll be racking their head and trying to see how they can squeeze in these fixtures.
Yeah, definitely. I think that actually takes away the pressure, and in the aspect of thinking where to arrange this fixture, because we know how tight the English calendar is. Already, even with the whole coronavirus, surge, with cases rising, you're still seeing fixture congestion already. So it's quite interesting, and I think it's just like you said, it has given them that time and space, to think and ease the pressure on the organizers of the English Premier League.
Now, so wrap it up on the show today. Let's all catch up with the latest in the transfer window. Kieran Trippier's transfer from Atletico Madrid to Newcastle is made official.
Yeah.
£12 billion it is. So the England defender, 31-year-old, is back to English football.
Interesting. I think it's quite an interesting one. I think we saw, we talked about that when the fee was agreed, and it's good that he's back in the league. Let's see if he can actually help this Newcastle team that is sinking, day by day. Good acquisition for them. I think they've added quality to what they have on ground already.
And now let's go to the rumor mill. And topping that is the purported possibility of Barcelona signing Brot Haaland during this transfer window. And despite having over €1 billion in debt. So I wonder how that will happen. And Barcelona are still looking at big things. Laporte, after signing Ferran Torres, said more signings are coming in. Yeah. But the Norwegian has a €75 million release clause. So I wonder how Barcelona will be able to meet up with that. You never can tell. With good negotiations. Yeah. Liverpool also said to be have Luis Diaz of Porto on their radar. You can understand. Yeah. They've lost Mane and Salah to Nations Cup. So you are looking out for another high-flying winger, probably, or attacker, if I use that word. Yeah. You understand where Liverpool is coming from. But that would definitely be a good acquisition, because that Colombian guy has actually settled down well in Europe since transferring to Porto. Yeah. As one of the shining light of Porto this season. Yeah,
definitely. I think it will be a good acquisition for Liverpool, and it can actually help them, all through this January, because Mane and Salah are not going to be there. So you need someone to actually fill in, because that's a kind of replacement, a direct replacement for these two guys. With Liverpool don't have them right now.
So many on the rumors mill, but we have run out of time totally. Philippe Coutinho, purported move to Aston Villa, still very much in the air. And Newcastle seems to be chasing everything. They chase everything. And any player you say Newcastle is interested in this player, they have the money to spend and they need to save their season. But then they are also on the verge of losing players, because some clubs are also trying to push their players. I understand that they rejected a bid from Everton for Sean Longstaff. And so when I saw it, I was a bit amazed. I said, look at Liverpool, Newcastle trying to beef up their team, and the team is trying to come and deplete it. They definitely would not sell. And they rejected that bid, and I know that they are going to, because Longstaff actually is due. We run out of contract by summer, so I'm sure they're going to offer him another contract for him to stay. So much on the program for today. Hope you've had a nice time with us. We're back, same time, same station on Monday. Another interesting edition of the program, the Grand Sports Center. And as usual, we're looking forward to having you join us. I want to quickly thank also Rome Austin. It's been wonderful having you on the show today.
It's my pleasure.
Of course, big thank you also to the entire production crew who have done a wonderful job behind the scene. If you have enjoyed, I'm Donald Akbapobo. If you have enjoyed your time with us, let's do it again on Monday. Enjoy the rest of the day.